As I said, I said 60s and 70s.
Let me say this.
Don't overtalk me.
I'm gonna fucking overtalk you because you're talking out of line.
But you're not gonna disrespect me.
You don't know what the
Oh, I am.
I just
do.
love it.
I do.
You don't know what the you talking about.
Oh, I do. I do.
You don't know it.
The content that I have for you guys here today is utterly complexing, all right? Now, the title of the video is Black Men Trust Black Women. Now, this is a roundtable discussion, but I like to describe what it is that they're doing as Knights of the Panderers table, okay? It's a panderer convention, right? It's Victim Olympics on steroids, and there's literally so many terrible parts within the confines of like this 2-hour podcast, this 2-hour conversation. I cannot go through it all right? Perhaps I should have had a live stream because there's so much in here to dissect, and it's really complicated of a topic, especially when there's different people commenting on different things, but the majority of the talking points amalgamate up to victimhood. It amalgamates up to victim-loving Black men touting Black female superiority while also, in a pathetic way, downgrading their own manhood, downgrading their own masculinity for fear of upholding this non-existent patriarchy that they keep on exclaiming from the mountaintops as if it is something that people are dealing with today. So the actual content is shit, but it's also, because it's, pandering, it's also not meant for me. It's not meant for us, right? It's in a completely different component of the content internet. So, which actually makes it good content for me to go over because there's so much within this that I'm just like, what's going on here? Listening to these men speak like this, not only is it wildly pathetic, but also it drops my testosterone down dozens of points. So I'll leave a link to it down in the description box down below in case y'all are masochist, right? But I will never, for the life of me, understand the genre of content that for it to be consumable on the other side of the internet, it must always place men in a suboptimal position or a subservient position, while also pandering to women in such a way that you are classifying them as superior than. As a content product, I guess it makes sense, right, to pander or to placate to an audience, but from a solution-based perspective, listening to these men talk like this does nothing but set us back. So anyway, we're going to start off in an odd portion of the conversation where actor Clifton Powell is having a passionate conversation with a man in regards to being a 70-year-old man and not understanding how to move correctly previously in life. So let's get active there because that portion actually is going viral right now. Without further ado, a little bit of extra context. This is like 50 minutes into the conversation. And by this point, everybody is just agreeing like men are the enemy. There's a patriarchy, right? We're taking and stripping rights away from women, right? We're keeping women down, right? Like all of these, it's just so pathetic. Meanwhile, Clifton Powell is actually 70 years old. He looks great for 70, but the man that he's about to get in a dust up with is a gay Black man. Just extra context for the conversation, but let's go.
I think everybody is right because there's so many levels to this. Mm-hmm. But most of this was laid on our parents.
Yeah.
My father was born in 1915 and his parents were slaves. Mm-hmm. Well, his grandparents were slaves. Mm-hmm. So what I've learned is it's not your mother's fault. It's not your father's fault. It's not your fault. We were born into 450 years of post-slavery PTSD. I am 69, I'll be 70 in March. I've just learned how to love. Mm-hmm. Our parents didn't know how to love. Their parents didn't know how to love. And if I could say anybody maybe had an edge, it was the women. That's why I celebrate Black women. I live with a psychiatrist, forensics detective, gangster, loving Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer, who's just been patient with me to teach me how to love. But in closing on this, because I don't want to get too deep,
okay,
I called my buddy, man. I said, I'm fucking up, bro, really bad.
Why?
I'm fucking up.
Why?
I never been monogamous, so I don't fucking know what it is.
What age did you become monogamous?
Today.
Okay.
No, but let me just say what it is.
to know.
And we don't talk about this. We don't talk about dopamine being in a pleasant center of the brain like we talked about. Oxytocin is the hormone. It's called the cuddle hormone. So a lot of times we're just talking in generalities. And that's why I think what you said about counseling, because a counselor is going to get inside of this from a real, not even white people perspective, just from a scientific perspective, unless science is not wrong and the brain is not made what it is. So when I hurt my girl, which I've done over and over, and I commend her for even being with me, and I said it in my podcast, and I'm gonna say this and stop. I called one of my partners who was brilliant. He said, when you hurt somebody, where you leave them is where they stay. So I think our parents, our grandparents, our uncles, the people that raised us, those men who treated
He don't like what he's saying.
women outside the house nice, but then put the thumb on the grandmama and put the thumb on the girlfriend or whoever.
Okay.
They are all, it all comes from out of all of that. And I think that's what makes me excited that we're going to bring the women and the uncles and we need to bring them all in here. But go ahead.
All right. Just before they go in. Quick emergency meeting. I was recently searching for my name online and found way too much personal information, which brought me down this weird rabbit hole of how that could have happened, and found out that there's companies out there called data brokers that will sell your data to marketers, scammers, and even stalkers. And it's a nasty, disgusting feeling knowing that there's bad actors out there selling my information, selling your information for profit. But that's why I'm recommending today's sponsor, Aura. Now, I use Aura to automatically remove my information from these sites and keep my information off. But they do other things as well, such as bank fraud and identity theft alerts, VPN access. But guys, utilize my link down in the description box down below for a 14-day trial. At least see if you've been compromised. Privacy is king in this day and age, and you should know if your information is out there. So again, utilize my link, aura.com/MTR, in the description box down below to try 2 weeks free. That's way more than enough time to see if your personal data has been exposed. Go now. Shout out to Clifton. He's an OG, right? He's an elder in the game. So the things that I'm about to say, right? I'm coming at the things that you're saying, my guy. But I'll be honest with you, when I listen to content like this is more reason as to why I think women should be on board with the type of content that I create on this side of the internet right here. This man just said, at 70 years old, I am a victim because of something that happened with the white man, which we can all agree was crazy atrocities, and then starts to go over the parents not loving and the grandparents not loving. Meanwhile, during those times, those are the highest rates of marriage. But what he's doing is forever victimizing. Meanwhile, this is a room full of millionaires, multi-millionaires with $30,000 or $40,000 worth of recording studio to get this content in front of our eyes, and constantly victimizing himself. And because of this victimhood and always placing blame on other people besides fixing his own actions, he is okay in admitting that he's been cheating on, I guess, the woman in his life for how many long. He admits to stepping outside of the relationship for however long the relationship has been, not demonstrating integrity, not demonstrating masculinity, doing things behind his lady's back, which is nothing that we purport on this side of the internet. We purport, look yourself in the mirror, identify your weaknesses, and fix it. Considering counseling for yourself at 70 years old, while I appreciate him talking about considering therapy, but you're 70 years old. If you knew something was wrong, you should have considered this decades before. And if you didn't realize it, you didn't look internally enough, and instead your focus or your priority was blaming others.
Thing that I just want to talk about in Luke, make sure I say the name right, crop this part out. Okay. What Luke brought up was like accountability. Like, yes, we can talk about, what our families did to us, all this, all that. But eventually, and I know white people try and say this, and I really don't like that, but eventually it comes a point where you have to decide, how do I want to live my life? I haven't talked to my daddy in 6 years. I don't give a fuck about what my family has gone through. I know where I will go. So it's like, you can only say that for so long. Black women are tired, and, kind of like putting onto them like, hey, you didn't do this entirely, because everybody in here, several people have talked about going to counseling. Have that upon yourself. Stop waiting for a woman to tell you what you need to do. Take that upon yourself.
Let me address that real quickly. For me, I didn't know fucking how to
Can
love.
I say one more thing? No, I have to say this, because another thing that happens is, too, you live your life for so long, and I'm not meaning no disrespect by this.
It's all right, just say it, bro.
But when you hit your 60s and your 70s, I want to be right.
Okay, but let me.
I want to live my life right. I want someone to take care of me and protect me, and that's what a lot of women have issues with.
Because I'm living it right the fuck now.
As I said,
listen,
I said 60s and 70s.
Let me say this.
Don't overtalk me.
I'm gonna fucking overtalk you
I'm
because
good,
you're talking out
but you're not gonna disrespect
You don't know
me.
what the fuck you
Oh,
talking
I
about.
am. I do.
Love at 60,
I do.
bro. You don't know what the fuck you talking about.
Oh, I do.
Because you can't
I
fix
do.
no shit
I
and you
do.
don't know it, nigga.
I do.
I'm good. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm living. You can't tell me what the fuck I'm living, nigga. I'm living it right now. You cannot fix no shit that you don't even know is
I
happening.
think there's a misunderstanding.
No, but he's generalized. You can't. No, listen, bro. Let me stop. This is what it is. Let's get to the truth of this shit.
All right.
You can't fix no shit unless you meet somebody who is on another level to help you elevate to understand. I'm not indicting anybody. I'm telling you what the shit is. You can't fix some shit that you don't know about, bro.
Okay.
You can't. And then you get there at 69 or 70 and say, I thought I was being loving all this time. That's what our parents have gone through, and that's why we all so fucked up right now.
Okay. I wanted to let that play out just so you guys have context of the back and forth. Now, while I agree with the majority of the points that came from the man that challenged Clifton, I don't agree that it became a sassy conversation, right? He got his emotions involved within it and began to overtalk. I don't agree that that is a correct way to try to address somebody that is talking about their lived experience, because Clifton is just talking about the way that he has experienced the world. I can identify as an observer, hey, bro, you can snap the chalk at whatever point that you want within your life, and you don't have to wait for anybody else, a mentor, right? Like the world owes you no favors. What if that person never comes along? As a man, it is incumbent for you to be able to figure it out on your own, depending upon the type of life or lifestyle that you want within your life. But at the same junction, it wasn't beneficial for the guy to be yelling at him within the conversation, and that's why Clifton then began to check him back. But let's listen a little bit more.
You asked, how do we love black women?
Yeah.
That's right here. Trust black women and listen to black women because they know more than we do what it is that they need.
I don't think that's true either.
As
There's
men,
a lot of black women who don't know how to love.
I'm not talking about what they know how to love. I'm saying what they need as far as the reproduction.
I get that.
That's what we're talking about right now. Also, if we're going to use our privilege and power as men in society, how do we show up and be accountable? Like you said, the way to be accountable is to dismantle patriarchy, because patriarchy makes it so that men have the power and women do not.
But you can't get there unless you listen to him. We got to go, and you may not agree. We got to go to therapy. I should be in therapy right now. My girl should be in therapy. We all come from generations and generations, and you can't motherfucking sit here and tell me when I'm going through at 70, I just realized, but listen to what I'm saying. No, let's be good, bro. It's not gonna get out of control, but this is real shit. Bro, this is real shit. I'm telling you, you can't love a queen. Some of these girls out here in Queens because their daddies wasn't there. If your daddy ain't there from 12 to 25, you going down a rabbit hole. Promiscuity, drugs, gotta read more. Gotta stop getting so fucking defensive and read more, because I read. I know what the fuck I'm talking about because I'm living it. Until you meet a real motherfucking queen who had to figure out her trauma, you can't even learn how to love a black woman.
So here's one thing.
That's what we gotta start.
Clifton is both the low light and the highlight of this entire conversation.
Here's one thing with because I think I agree that you can't wait until you know.
You gotta hold yourself accountable.
So
if you figure it out.
Hold on. Because here's the thing.
If you figure it out, bro.
But you gotta let other people talk. Hold on.
No, it's all good. That's why I can't do this, bro.
I got you.
I'm on.
You can't.
I
the arguments are important. This is how black men talk to each other. So I want to make sure. This is what I want to make sure we're framing properly, because a lot of the time we think, because you're talking about your privilege and your power and how you use it. A lot of time we've been taught our power is how we control a situation, and we try to control that situation by dominating it, by shutting other people down, by overpowering them. And I think that is something that, monogamy, just to be real, is not the end all be all. That's not the best. It's the only way. It's not the only way to live, and it's not just men or women. It's literally, there are other ways to be. And so some people value monogamy more. That doesn't mean that you have sin and you dead and you evil if you haven't been. But the problem is, most of the time, the way that we're living is by telling somebody that we are monogamous when we're not. Hold So that's lying.
But let's
hold on.
bro.
So that's dishonesty.
We can't talk
so
about
you're talking
monogamy.
therapy.
No, we
You
gotta
talking about
talk.
therapy.
No, we gotta talk about
I'm not arguing with you. I'm
just
agreeing
saying.
with you. Hold on.
Men are not. First of all, this is not our culture. In Africa, it's polygamy.
No.
Men
It's
are not
the
monogamous
only thing.
biologically,
It's
is it?
Some people do believe that monogamy is the most healthy thing.
97% of
thing
married
for
men cheat,
them.
bro.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's
85% of married women cheat. Nobody is being monogamous.
We've also
That's
been
part of the
taught
patriarchy.
to lie, and we've also been
but I'm just
taught
saying
to
what the
dominate
facts
and
is.
control.
I
So
think the
I think
facts,
there
yeah.
are other perspectives here that are valuable in holding that stuff accountable, because we were talking about how to hold each other accountable in this,
Can I
right?
add something to that?
in talking about trusting Black women and loving Black women, how do we hold each other accountable in that? How do we make promises that we can keep? How do we say that, make sure that we're surrounding each other with people who are going to check us when we're wrong, right? And how do we know that who knows what's right and what's wrong in that, right?
I think it starts with
Even what I read, a lot of the time what we read is wrong. A lot of the time the books that they give us to educate ourselves are wrong. So I do want to hear more perspectives on literally how to hold ourselves accountable in that. We're talking about trusting Black women. How do we trust Black women, right? You know what I'm saying?
right.
And what is that trust accountable to? What books? Because a lot of the books that we're given in school are lies that tell us the opposite of how to trust Black women. That tell us the opposite of how to hold each other accountable and make sure that we understand what is right and wrong and what each other's perspectives are. So I love the energy of, I'm not afraid of the argument. I'm not afraid of the fight. But it does have to be. But I do want to make sure that we take it to a place where we come out here more powerful than we did when we came.
I think we gotta listen to
Yeah,
Luke.
well, that's not going to happen, because the definition of walking out with more power here is not talking about women from a place of what they've, fought for, equality, but it's talking about them from a position of superiority. Also, it's very interesting to me that within a conversation that mostly focuses in Black heterosexual relationships, not only do you have non-Black men here, but then you also have what appears to be multiple gay men speaking at the same table. Well, I do think that it's okay that everybody should have an opinion. I do think that the weight of those opinions should be focused more on those that are Black and that practice heterosexuality. If this was a conversation about Black homosexuality, and as a Black heterosexual man, I was invited in to speak on my opinion on the disjointment of the Black man and the Black man, I don't know what I'm talking about. It's not a lived experience, baby. Nevertheless, let's keep going.
I think we gotta listen to Luke. He's talking about therapy. This is what he's saying.
We gonna get your t-shirt to say, listen to
in order for us to trust Black women, we gotta fix ourselves. They gotta go fix themselves, and it starts with Black people don't like to go to counseling. They need to go to fucking therapy. That's it.
Jay brought that up, and I agree that we must talk, but I do also understand the value in us talking, our perspective.
We got that part, but how do we find solutions?
But the only thing is we're not gonna get to a solution because there is still something on the table. There's still something on the table, and we gotta.
What's on the table?
Your point of view, his point of view.
What's on the table to me is how do we as Black men?
You said listen to Luke.
No, but I'm just interjecting, bro. Y'all said interject.
Well, inject.
Listen.
Has Clifton been
How
drinking?
do we help Black women? I'm telling you.
Well, first we gotta help ourselves.
Right. But I'm
Can't go to
saying,
no Black
what I'm
women
saying is,
if we can't figure out,
right.
If
And
we
I'm
can't
saying
figure out what love really
you
means,
said
what
earlier,
love looks like to us, what love has
right,
been to us,
right.
what have we
And
been taught
I'm
about
saying we come
love,
from generations of no love.
right? But
Right.
then,
So we
but
gotta
does
go back to-
patriarchy come with accountability?
No, I think we gotta go back to
The definition of patriarchy is when we have systems of domination for men. Right now, I think we're not doing a good job of naming the system that literally incentivizes us to be on some fuck shit. Or it incentivizes us to always want to be dominated in power. But I think in our conversation right now as Black people, a lot of times when you hear the word patriarchy, you think about the word patriarchy, you think about how we're taught in Christianity to be patriarchs. So a lot of us have a hard time thinking about leadership and thinking about how that leadership comes out in fucked up ways. I.e., I want to be a patriarch like Father Abraham, therefore patriarchy is good. Patriarchy is not good. The system of domination for women is not good. But a lot of us buy into that.
So I got a question I want to ask you.
What's your question?
What is the system of domination? We currently live in way more of an egalitarian society than what this clown bozo woman panderer would ever want to admit. These are single mother raised young men that cannot but help tout the I'm a victim power play. Please help me understand, what are the systems that are currently at play? The systems of men dominating women. Does it show up in the homelessness rate? Does it show up in the male self-deletion rate? Is it showing up in who is the most college educated rate? Is it showing up in who is the most federally funded for education rate? Does it show up anywhere within the family court system? Does it show up anywhere within the world's deadliest jobs, right? Are you fighting for equality for female representation within the army, within the police department, within the fire station, on the ships, the ice road truckers, for construction, right? Like, where exactly is this system of domination and how is it being represented? Or is it displayed when Black conscious content creators defend women who falsely accuse men of violence against them?
The fact y'all still lying on this woman blows my mind. Do y'all think a falsified government document would be circulated on the internet and this woman not be taken to jail?
A few months later,
article itself states that she was assaulted, but that she allegedly lied about how she was assaulted. So for the people in the back, the reason why she's being charged with fraud is because law enforcement has said, no, you were assaulted, but you lied about how you said you was assaulted. Therefore, all the money you raised is fraud.
I read that article, by the way, and he conveniently left out the part where Brick Lady pretty much changed her entire story multiple times during the investigation.
He told the detective that responded that she was hit in the head with a brick after she refused to give her phone number to a guy on the street.
And was that verified by any of the evidence that detectives looked at?
No, that was not verified.
Harris County prosecutor Keith Houston says surveillance videos from that early September morning show Osmond hitting a man first.
So she's the one she was the aggressor?
She was the aggressor, yes.
And it was a water bottle that hit her, not a brick?
He did have a water bottle in his hand, and we think that's what left the mark. Thornton verified with Minneapolis police that there was no assault done at that time. It was completely fictional.
He also conveniently left out the fact that a plastic bottle can't leave that kind of damage behind, well, unless it has like cement or ice in it. But I'm not really here to dunk on bro. That would be too easy. That's not my style. In fact, as surprising as this may be to some, I actually feel a great deal of pity for him. Y'all know me. I've been through my fair share of controversy in the past, right? And let's be honest, the kind of person I am, it's definitely going to happen again. In a world full of lies, telling the truth is considered crazy. Shout out to Kanye. So I can take a really good guess at what's going through his mind right now. And I gotta say, I'm not too sure he can handle mentally what's coming at him. Because it's very different if you actually believe in what you're getting crucified by the public for saying. I know for me personally, that's how I felt about every single controversy I've ever been through. I believe in the shit I'm talking about. But it's very clear to me that this guy does not believe in what he's saying. He's just saying it to save face. And that's why I feel so sorry for him, because he's painted himself in a corner he can't get out of. He really just has to ride this thing until the wheels fall off and hope for the best. Moral of the story, if you're gonna say something in public that people will come at you for, the least you can do is actually believe in it. Take it from me.
These single mother raised men who go to these Black liberal institutions where they've been taught that they are lesser than and that they don't deserve anything are a cancer to young men within society. And their grifting is doing way more damage than what they even realize. And I do think that the majority of their idiocy is due to not only in order to achieve that bag, but what does not only a patriarchal regime actually look like, but a failed one?
You're very educated. I mean, I keep learning every day, you know. North Carolina, welcome from North Carolina. So glad to have all of us here. Thank you so much, Kylie. Appreciate so much. Guys, we also appreciate all the support, by the way. For those who are supporting, we don't take that for granted. That's the sad reality. I grew in these conditions. Actually, there's many people who've grown in these kind of conditions. It is the sad reality. Hello from the UK, welcome from the UK. So glad to have all of us. Thank you so much, Fantic. Thank you so much. Welcoming everybody. Very humble and honest. Yeah, for me, I'm always humble and honest, you know. Those are the two qualities that I've always been living with. Welcome from Australia, welcome from
I woke up this morning and this live stream popped up as I was checking my TikTok. How blessed that we all are to have not been raised in no shit like this. These people don't have a chance, and they more than likely will never have a chance. For the governments are too corrupt, their culture and their society is forever ruined, and nobody is coming to save them. While the US ain't perfect, abject poverty created by a corrupt patriarchy would be more form fit for your conversation, not the soft, cushy, egalitarian ass shit that currently exists in the West. It will never cease to amaze me. Millionaires speaking as if they are poor, as if they've been forever held back in society. This is what being held back actually looks like.
Unlearn that. I think we unlearn that by listening to what he's saying.
About what specifically?
Therapy. So we can go understand all of it.
But listen, I want to be clear. Right now, we're talking about a system of power.
Right.
If you think interpersonally going to therapy is going to deconstruct the system of power, no.
I don't say.
But this is what we get at. Right now, we're talking about trusted black women. There's a system I'm saying that goes against it.
Aspect to it.
Yes.
I'm not. Don't go to no white therapy.
No, but hold on. If we talking about therapy,
let's talk about therapy.
This is therapy.
Yes.
Correct. This is therapeutic.
Yes. Right. Us looking like us.
Yes.
Right. Different ages, different experiences. Us. It's gonna be ugly. It's not gonna be cute. We ain't professional therapists or nothing, but we are listening.
Okay, hold on.
And I think that's the point where we got to
stay there.
Right here is just listen.
Stay there.
Listen and find and wait for it. Because sometimes it's just the listening. I think that's the whole part of this whole thing. Because we don't listen because we live in this space of feeling like we know everything. And we are not the smartest people in the room.
So then who is? Matter of fact, you know what I was listening to this morning?
I feel like as a man, whenever you go out, you should have a baddie budget. Something happened last night, and I was like, this should be shamed. And my friends, we're at a table, we're having a good time, but we need water at a certain point.
Sure.
We don't have water, so I take it upon myself to go to the bar.
You're thirsty.
And order 4 or 5 waters.
Okay.
There's a man trying to talk to me, and I was like, okay, amazing. I'm trying to order this water right now. He says, I'll take care of it. I said, okay, it's me and it's my friends. I said, it's 4 waters. He's like, oh no, I'm not gonna do it. I said, do not talk to me again tonight because you don't have $47. Yes, that's expensive water, I understand. However, that's not the point. You don't have 47 spare dollars for a baddie. Go back inside immediately and don't come back out until you get some more money.
What?
I'm not playing. Don't come outside as a man without a baddie budget, without spare money to buy a baddie a drink, to buy a baddie some water, to buy a baddie and her friend some water. That don't make no sense. Where they do that at?
Is this the type that y'all are talking about that we need to listen to? Straight up threes talking about baddie budgets. What? $47 to get you and your homegirl some H2O. Now, this mindset and the derivatives of it are way more present within modern dating as it exists today amongst black women. However, they never talk about these ones that ruin it for the rest of them. These are the same women that will exclaim that they don't receive protection from black men. Meanwhile, you just utilize black men as an ATM, right? As your personal piggy bank.
I think we're too ashamed to admit when we're wrong. And so when we go, when trust, I'm gonna say something. Tressie Cottom, credible writer, sociologist. She says we are smarter when we listen to black women, not because all black women are right, but because all black women deserve to be heard, right? And when we're so caught up in the process of listening is love. That's how we love black women, by listening to them, right?
Okay.
And again, everything they said isn't necessarily right, but they do deserve to be heard.
So let me address that.
Hold on, let me finish. Let me back it up. In doing so, we can help dismantle patriarchy because we're leading with, hold on, let me finish, bro. We're leading with listening.
Shut up.
And if we
yo,
lead
these
with listening,
betas, yo.
that means we're not listening so that we can respond. We're listening so we just listening to understand, which means you might have to ask another question. If you speak, it is to ask another question.
And not censor yourself.
So you can get more
Oh my
information
God.
from the source.
Okay. And so I started out really quick.
I'm sorry. I might have to end this soon because I can't take this shit no more. The amount of weakness, the pathetic beta boy behavior here is just, it's obscene to me. It's obscene to me. Please anchor the conversation in, okay, let me calm back down. Anchor the conversation in watching a failed society. Also anchor in the conversation that there's so many of them that also speak like that spoiled, entitled brat asking for $50 worth of water to talk to her. How can you currently anchor these thoughts in listen to all when we just listen to her? We listen to the damage, the trauma, and the hurt that she comes from, treating men like nothing but pieces of green paper, knowing that she has had every opportunity. She's had the government funding behind her to create whoever it is that she wants to do, wear her hair however she wants to, make up her face however she wants to, get all the tattoos that she wants to. She has the ultimate freedom in this world, up to the freedom of disrespecting the same men that y'all claim systematic oppression from. This is not what oppression from men looks like. I'm sorry, they fed y'all the pill of denigrating who you are as a man, and y'all ate it hook, line, and beta sinker. For the men that are watching this content and for decades have watched this sullying of who you are as a man, and you're made to believe that you should be lesser than in order to help the opposite side grow, even though in reality you're watching equality across the board. Please just ignore these dudes with every fiber of your soul. And I'll tell you guys what, like during my educational pursuits, during my corporate 9-to-5 pursuits, right? Whether it be in corporate activity or whether it be in like discussion nights and shit like that, I used to sit in conversations like this and look around at the tail in between men speak like this in these conversations. And I always used to think like, why don't I agree with, is there something wrong with me that I don't agree with their complete refusal of objective reality? They just talk from this position of being lesser than, fed through this faux idea that women are currently inferior or treated inferior in this society today. And it saddens me because these are the men who don't stand on business. They get tricked into relationships with these demon serpent women. And then these are also the men that get taken to the cleaners because they believed all of the bullshit that is coming out of their mouths. Please, men, save yourselves.
Really quick with that patriarchy, because we keep saying patriarchy and you were saying without centering yourself, and I think that that's really important. Because I wouldn't know. I'll just be real. If me being, young nigga in the street, I wouldn't be like.
I wouldn't say young, but
when I was, I'm not saying now. I understand what it is now, but I'm saying when I was, I wouldn't hear somebody talk about dismantling patriarchy and be even attracted to the conversation or even know what that means, right? And so what I would like you to go a little bit deeper into what does that even mean? Because for me, the way I'm thinking about it is the way that we've been taught wrong about our power. Yes. That we are supposed to, that we have some sort of privilege in certain, in some situations, that we have a little bit more power than somebody else, and that we abuse that power. We use that power to try to control the situation in our favor when we should be listening to other people, when we should be honoring their existence and centering their freedom, their liberation. You know what I'm saying? So what their experience. So what does that mean to y'all? What does that even mean to dismantle patriarchy? What is that? Why is it harmful? And I'm not putting that necessarily on you, but whoever wants to talk.
Can I go?
What does that mean? Yeah.
So when someone comes to you and they already know what you possess as a person, like for example, like a lot of doctors. Once I feel like a lot of black men get higher education, a lot of people want to get treated like a bitch. That's the truth. Like more accolades, get treated like a bitch. Like you want, like,
take care of me.
Yes, take care of me. Like, or like, like I'm the prize. I'm the prize.
You talk about when you become rich and famous.
You don't even got to be rich or famous. It could be you going like for 12 years in academia.
That language
I'm trying to understand you.
What?
Like a bitch.
That's how they want to be treated. Some men want to be like that.
But think about the
That's
way
relative
that
to
you're saying
patriarchy.
that, and what we're talking about now around centering like black women and their experiences, and even the saying treated like
I'm not making that connection. Bitch to me is subservient. Men can be bitches, women can, like I shouldn't say that.
But you're a man.
Yeah, but
so you being called a bitch is not the same as a woman being called a bitch, especially a black woman being called a bitch.
I feel like the black women that listen to this, they're gonna know what I'm talking about. They're gonna know what I'm talking about.
As long as we put, because I think it's important. I hear what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
It's like a competition to be the most beta. You know what I'm saying?
I get it. What I think that it's important that we talk about all of it.
Yes. So this is what I think. So like, we're speaking in this way. This is how the dismantling happens.
because the language and how we say things is very important.
Sure.
And that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So like I'm not saying like don't say it, because I'm like I say bitch all the time. Like that's not what I'm saying at all. But it's essentially about when we're talking about the systems of power, and when we talk about dismantling patriarchy, and we talk about masculinity and what that means and what that looks like to us. And I could say even to y'all as someone as cis men, because my perspective of it is going to be completely different from how you all experienced it, having come from a different place. So like when growing up, I have two brothers, and the way my father taught my two brothers what it would be to be what it meant to be a man and how to show up and what masculinity meant, it was always domination, it's power, it's strength. And it was never really softness, like protection, not softness. So I wanted to combat the idea that being a good man, or a man is being like or men are natural protectors or natural providers. I don't think that's the case at all. Men are not. You can't be a natural protector and provider when you are the one that's causing harm. Right. Yeah. So what are you protecting? You're protecting. You say you're protecting women.
You said that so eloquently.
You're saying
so simple too.
He said it the way I was trying to say it.
No, you're protecting yourself.
Then you be doing this motherfucking hands like this, like I'm gonna fuck you up.
So that is largely how we got it wrong.
And then we talk about masculinity. So when we're teaching young men and boys,
I think we on to something here. I think we on to something.
What masculinity is always an antithesis to femininity. And
exactly
womanhood.
Right.
So then it's just like, to be a man and to be strong and to show up means you don't be like a woman. So being a woman is less than. It's always going to be down.
Right. So let's go back to what we were talking about at the table. Listen.
Guys, I'm sorry to say, but you're doing an intellectually dishonest service to this conversation. Men, masculine men, typically think about situations, issues, or topics from a probability perspective, not a possibility perspective. Judging that men are not protectors because a small portion of men perpetrate those crimes is obscene to me, is abhorrent to me. It is not the majority of men that are doing damage to their society and community in the West around them. It is the minority of men, okay? We're not focused on possibility. The possibility that a man could be violent and dangerous doesn't encumber the probability of the men that do so, okay? We're not going to judge all by the possibility. Judge them by the probability. But the problem is that the majority of y'all have been fed the men is evil, choose the bear over the man motif, and you just walk forward in society degrading who you are as a man. It is wild watching a group of men vying or buying acceptance from the opposite sex while throwing their own masculinity and other men completely under the bus.
Right. What I was trying to say to you is this.
I think.
Out of everybody in this motherfucking room, I'm 70 years old. My mother committed suicide when I was 4. My father was a dysfunctional alcoholic. I'm just learning. Like you said, I think when you learn, you gotta do better.
Yeah.
Sure.
So now I'm trying to do better. So we talking about trusting black women, because that's why the fuck I'm here.
Right.
And I don't like doing this kind of shit.
Right.
Because my brain is on another level, because I live with the boss. I live with a queen who's a boss, that if you saw me, and I'm just saying this, and that's why I got emotional, because I'm living it right now. Every 18 seconds, a woman gets beaten in this country by a man. When a woman is killed, it's by the domestic partner. So it's a lot of things that y'all are talking about that's true, that in order for us as black and Latino men, or you Latin?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm half Latin.
Head ass.
I'm just saying.
No, but I'm just saying, what I'm saying, nobody at this table is wrong. In order to love black women, we gotta figure out where we are as men and how to get away from what you said, that patriarchal kind of bullshit that we've been taught, like your dad, be nice to everybody else, but got his thumb on your mother's head. That's not love.
So what happens when you come to a woman that you don't see as a queen?
I'm gonna pause the conversation right here because the video is getting too long. I think that it's interesting the way that we're concluding right here, right? Because What Clifton is essentially saying is that the negative or abusive behavior that the young man described about his father, it has something to do with patriarchy. I would argue that his father has been raised not in a patriarchal society, but an egalitarian society, one of which he had the opportunity to do really bad shit. But guess what? Really bad shit, if this is true, by the way, really bad shit happens to both sexes on both sides of the coin. If women do really bad shit, we don't call that a female orienty or whatever. I don't even know what the female word for that is. But bad things happen on both sides of the coin. The problem is that if women do odd or heinous things, we do not then call that a matriarchy. We don't say that. And in fact, what's interesting is that within the Black community, it is predominantly a matriarchy, as the Black woman is the leader of the majority of the households. What's interesting is that if you look at the growth of the young Black man as demonstrated within society today, there is a problem. One of which that I think that would be remedied if the households did have more of a patriarchal structure, because then the young men would be under more control, because good man is going to have the toolkit to teach emotional control, right? Being able to respond as a man with a man body and man consequences to a situation than looking at the matriarch and the female paradigm. If you look at the stats, not all, but probability speaking, single mother households are not doing that well. Consequently, single father households with the same stats do far better. Now, there's a smaller sample size for single fathers than to single mothers, but irrespective, the stats don't even reflect the tone of this conversation. There is evil men out there, but there's also evil women out here. And to Clifton's earlier point, I do think that there is a degree of self-regulation that the sexes need to have on themselves. Men, strong, good men, should be in control of the narrative of what it is to be a good, strong man. Good, feminine, beautiful, modest, forward-thinking women, supportive women, should be in control of the narrative of women. And what has happened within Black people is that the narrative has gone completely opposite. And in fact, you have those that get paid the most to disrupt a conducive narrative, grift in such a way to not only create, but continue the debauchery that is put on a pedestal. What's interesting, and again, complexing about some of Clifton's statements is that he had some of this negative behavior exacted upon him in his life.
I heard that a wardrobe girl tried to lie on you. What's the backstory behind
Lie
that?
on you.
Are you reading this from somewhere? Or you heard about it?
No, I do my deep research. When I do an interview, I do deep research.
Yeah, you can't lie on me. I'm trying to figure out, because nobody's ever asked me that, because I'm saying you must be doing your research. Yeah. Well, you know what happens is it's always somebody that's going to try to lie on you. First of all, I've never been arrested. I got a daughter. I don't groom women. I don't cross no lines unless it's consensual. I don't hurt people. I don't mix my personal business on sets. So when she said that, the other Black girl said, don't lie on him like that. I don't know if it was a Black girl or another white girl, but she said, he ain't do none of that. Don't lie on him. So you can't do that to me. I'm not invincible, but I try to stay on the right side of right. And I haven't been perfect about anything in my life, but I know one thing, I don't hurt. I've tried my best not to hurt women. I don't coerce, I don't force, I stay on the right side of right.
What was she trying to accuse you of, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't know, I think she said I came on to her or something. Ooh. I'm a real man, I like beautiful women, but I don't come on to women. Most of the time they bring it to me, you know what I'm saying? Especially back in my day when my hair was all black and I was cut up like Morris Chestnut and chocolate. But there always it's people that just do weird shit to artists because they try to get money. A lot of times it's money or trying to ruin your career. Who knows? But nothing happened because the Black girl was right there, or I'm not sure the girl that vouched for me was Black, but she's like, Cliff didn't do any of that. I was watching. I keep it professional.
Okay.
Yeah, she was trying to come up with a check, man. That's crazy, man. People are disgusting, bro.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, Clifton, if her allegation was closer into the Me Too movement, bruh, that might have been the last time that we saw you in a movie, in a show. It might have. Allegations of perversion when it comes to men, right? Like sexual assault allegations and things like that, without a doubt, are some of the most detrimental allegations that you can come across. But it is also proven time and time again, even with the content that I have on this channel, something that is most alleged when they want something from you, or they want to benefit from whatever it is that you've done in your life to create within value within the life and earn a lifestyle or income because of your sacrifice. We've seen false allegation after false allegation. And not only just that, but we've also seen these weak beta clown pretender grifters that will pander in support of the bullshit. Shout out again to Rhoda Brickface Osman. All right, guys. I think I'm done with this content. This went far. I should have done a live stream of this. It would have been like a 2-part, 3-part, something like that. Because we got to go in sometimes to this conversations that are just like this. It just perplexes me, the state of the union and the ridiculousness that we hear stuff. You know, it is odd to me that we know the word misogynist, but if you ask for the opposite, we don't know the word misandry, right? It's odd to me that we can talk about patriarchy, but most of the people who talk about it have never looked to see where else it exists in the world in order to compare and contrast what it actually looks like. Not only from a society that is decently progressing, but also failed versions of it, because now it is led with corruption. It is weird to see that even as we go into the future, now we are still having these conversations. And I understand, at least to a degree, that there being an overcorrection, at least initially, as the feminist movement started, right? But it's no longer that anymore. And now it's about domination and female superiority. Bring back men, bring back fathers, bring back leadership, bring back structure, bring back control. And stop leading with this, oh, woe is me, I am a victim. We live in an oppressive, right? Like the words, right? Like, oh, you can't say that because that's going to offend this people or persons over there. Like, miss me with this. Like, I'm done with it. Anyway, questions, comments, concerns, y'all let me know down up in the comment box down below. I appreciate each and every one of you for continuing to come back up on here and rock with your boy. This was a long one today, but I think that it was purposeful. Until next time, I love y'all. Peace.
So, without further ado, MTR, cut through the BS like we in charge. No cap with the rappers like steel bars. I'm packing and rapping like here we are. Mediocre tutorial reviews. Like, comment, share my views. Come up and I paid my dues. Big step in my black way shoes. MTR, he break it down, yeah, it's MTR. Check out the sound with his MTR. No one put it down like it's MTR.